Making headlines first at 9, celestial phenomenon. A rare super blue blood moon makes an appearance after 30 years. The hole deepens. Marapana committee recommends MP Ravi Karunanika should not act as UNP assistant leader. No respite. The president warns against corruption and pledges to bring fraudsters similar to that under the Rajapaksa regime and the UNP to book. Good for all. The Prime Minister reveals government's plans to develop Trincomalee by a Singaporean organisation and says it's good for the region. In sports, ODI-like test, Bangladesh rack up over 350 on their first day of the first test in Chittagong. Good evening, I'm Indivri Amuatta. It's not every day Earthlings get to witness a rare celestial phenomenon, and in fact, one could say it's once in a blue moon that such a spectacle is experienced. Today, however, carries great significance as a privileged part of the world witnessed exactly that and more. A supermoon, a blue moon and a total lunar eclipse all occurred at the same time today, with a rare lunar trifecta manifesting after a 30-year absence.
Tonight was special to stargazers in Eastern Asia, Australia and parts of the USA as they witnessed a rare super blue blood moon trifecta. The blue moon aspect simply means it is the second full moon in a month, not that the moon will actually appear blue. On average, a blue moon happens just under every 3 years. It's also called a supermoon because the moon in its elliptical orbit is near its closest point to Earth. This proximity makes it appear 14% bigger than normal and 30% brighter. Then we have a lunar eclipse or blood moon, which occurs when the moon passes directly behind the Earth into its umbra or shadow. This can occur only when the Sun, Earth and Moon are aligned exactly or very closely with the Earth in the middle. Hence, a lunar eclipse can occur only in the night of a full moon. The total lunar eclipse, which occurred between 6:21 p.m. and 7:37 p.m. during the evening, was a result of the Earth moving between the Sun and Moon, preventing sunlight from reaching the Moon. According to NASA, the next blue moon lunar eclipse during a supermoon will not occur again until 2037.
Prince Edward and Princess Sophie of England arrived in Sri Lanka this evening to participate in Sri Lanka's 70th Independence Day celebration, set to be worked off on the 4th of February. The duo, who will represent the Queen of England during the national celebration, was welcomed by the State Minister of Foreign Affairs, Wasantha Senanayake.
Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex and the Countess of Wessex arrived at the Katunayake Bandaranaike International Airport this afternoon. Prince Edward, the younger son of Queen Elizabeth, and his wife will travel to Colombo and other parts of the country, celebrating the long-standing friendship between the countries and shared interest in the Commonwealth, youth, development and education. The royal couple will stay in the country for 6 days.
Moving on to the political arena, the committee appointed within the United National Party to deliberate the bond inquiry report chaired by Minister Tilak Marapana recommends that parliamentarian Ravi Karunanika should not exercise any duties as an assistant leader of the party. The committee appointed by the UNP leader Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe recommends that such should be the case until the Attorney General or the Bribery Commission deems that no legal action is to be filed against MP Ravi Karunanika. Issuing a statement, UNP General Secretary Minister Kabir Hashim stated that the report of the committee will be presented to the working committee of the party, which is to be held in mid-February.
The statement issued by the General Secretary of the United National Party, Minister Kabir Hashim, on the recommendations of the committee, says that in the report of the Commission of Inquiry on the issuance of Treasury bonds, there are no findings against any member of the United National Party, including Ravi Karunanika, in regard to the issuance of Treasury bonds. The statement further says, quote, however, the Commission of Inquiry has decided that the Attorney General and the Bribery Commission should determine whether action should be taken against Ravi Karunanika under the Bribery Act or other appropriate legislation in respect of their findings that he had derived a substantial benefit from the lease payments made by Walt and Rao Associates Private Limited, which is an associate company of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, which is owned and controlled by the same persons who owned and controlled Perpetual Treasuries Limited, unquote. The statement goes on to say that the Commission has also stated that the Attorney General or other appropriate authorities could also consider whether the evidence given by parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayake is shown to have been incorrect, and in that case, whether there are grounds for prosecution under Section 179 and or under Section 188 of the Penal Code or other relevant provisions of the law, read with Section 9, the Commission of Inquiry Act No. 17 of 1948. The statement concludes saying that therefore, the committee recommends that until a finality is reached by the Attorney General and or the Bribery Commission, that no legal action is to be filed against parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayake, or if such action is instituted, until the conclusion of such action, steps should be taken to ensure that parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayake should not exercise any duties as an assistant leader of the United National Party.
In the meantime, parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayake expressed his views on the issues to media following events held this evening.
ඡන්ද කාලේ කියන දේවල් ගණන් ගන්න ඕනේ නැහැ නේ. ඒවා ඡන්දර පස්සේ බලන්න. ප්‍රකාශ මේක ඡන්දර පස්සේ මොනවද වෙන්නේ කියලා බලන්න. ඔය ඡන්ද කාලේ ගණන් ගන්න එපා. ජනාධිපති කියනවා, අගමැති කියනවා. ඔය ඔක්කොම බලන්න ඉතිරි.
On the same matter, Deputy Minister Chickpea Pereira, addressing a media briefing, said that no accusations are levelled at the United National Party over the controversial bond issuance. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna also convened a media briefing today and touched on an alleged publicity stunt to arrest parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayake several days prior to the election, only to release him after the elections.
Presidential Commission of Inquiry has concluded that the footnotes in the COPE Committee report are in accordance with the evidence and are accurate. This report mentions that there is no accusation for the United National Party. The issue of Ravi Karunanayake is not related to the bond issuance. That's another issue. Neither the United National Party, any of its leaders or the parliamentarians of the party that represented the COPE are accused in the report. According to the report, a case can be filed after deliberating evidence if possible. There, however, isn't an order to file a case against him. We have got to know of a plan hatched by the leaders of the United National Party and the Sri Lanka Freedom Party to be put into play during the last week of the election. One such plan is to leave all the leaders of the United National Party untouched and use Ravi Karunanayake as bait, with him being arrested with his consent until the election is over. This has become a well-known secret of the country. Ravi Karunanayake will be removed from his position of deputy leader and will be arrested by next week. But the leadership of the UNP has already done the largest damage that can be done to the economy of the country and the damage to the financial outlook of the economy.
And ahead of the local government elections, the National Collective of Lawyers Organisations filed a complaint at the Election Commission against Minister Faiza Mustafa and Lakshman Kiriyalla today. The members of the organisation claim that recent activities of the ministers violate election laws.
The National Collective of Lawyers Organisations filed a complaint with the Election Commission today.
Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla is saying that Prime Minister is the one to release funds for local government authorities, and he will do so only for the ones where UNP secure wins. He is asking the voters to cast their votes for the UNP, and Minister Faiza Mustafa is threatening voters, claiming he as a subject minister has the power to release funds and to secure wins for the UNP.
Meanwhile, Election Division of the Negombo Police found a stack of derogatory leaflets printed against former Deputy Minister Nimal Lanza from a printing office in the area today. The police made the discovery following a tip-off. Executive Director of PAFRA, Rohana Hettiarachchi, meanwhile held a media briefing today regarding violations of election laws.
We have reports of a deputy minister organising pilgrimages for residents in Matale. He has started offering food at a restaurant daily. What does this mean? The value of a vote has been reduced to a one-time meal. And in Polonnaruwa, a group of political supporters are distributing relief goods to patients with kidney diseases. There is nothing wrong with it because kidney disease is a major problem in Polonnaruwa and Anuradhapura. But doing this ahead of an election is not right. These politicians are already aware of the circular by the Elections Commissioner.
President Maithripala Sirisena says that he will severely punish corrupt local authority members who steal money from the people. The president expressed these views addressing a public rally in Akkarepatta today.
Another public rally of the United People's Freedom Alliance, led by the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, was held at Adalachene Vidyalaya in Akkaripattu this afternoon.
Those days, white vans came and abducted people. The media institutions were set on fire those days and the journalists were shot dead on roads. There was no democracy in the country. This country is accepted by the entire world today. I have a dream in my life to build a society where Sinhalese, Tamils and Muslim communities live in harmony. We have got together and created an alliance and a front. That is the front of the president. I would like to address the contestants. After winning with the people's vote, you have to work hard. I emphasize that you can't steal the money which you are given. I will fire those who will commit offences. I will not let anyone steal like the Rajapaksa regime did. I will not let anyone steal like some of those in the UNP have in this government. If any minister or parliamentarian of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party steal, I would not let that happen. Hail the symbol of the hand.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe insists that since the development of Trincomalee port is in the best interest of the region, the likes of India, Singapore and Japan will contribute to the development of the Trincomalee region, and its benefits could be reaped in Vavuniya as well. The Premier made this remark at a public rally of the UNP worked off in Vavuniya today.
Another propaganda rally geared towards the local authorities election was organised by the United National Party at the Kalaimagal grounds in Vavuniya today. It was held under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
The war decimated the economy of this area and we have to rebuild it. Before we take steps to develop the economy of the northeastern region, we had to fix the country's economy. There was never any profit for this country when Mahinda Rajapaksa was in power. They worked with loans and they obtained loans to pay off loans. Thankfully, we defeated him and took over. Now the government revenue has increased with new businesses coming up. Now we don't need to obtain loans to pay off loans. We can pay it off with our own money. It is only now that the country is seeing development and a steady income. It is only now, due to this development, that new job opportunities are emerging. There is no use promising jobs to people, you have to find a way to create jobs. The biggest income received through exports for this country was in 2017. It was at $15 billion. And just like that, the largest foreign investment we have received is also in 2017, which was $1.5 billion. We have to double this amount in order to improve this country's employment issue. We have to start taking steps in line with this agenda. And just like that, we are going to develop Trincomalee. The Trincomalee port is the best port in the Bay of Bengal. The more the port is developed, the more development India, Bangladesh, Myanmar and Trincomalee will see as well. Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Orissa, Bengal, Bangladesh will all see development. Even at present, an organization from Singapore is formulating a plan for the development of Trincomalee and it will be overseen by Minister Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca. Therefore, India, Singapore, Japan and Sri Lanka will help develop Trincomalee. The benefits of that will even come to Vavuniya. The Northeast has not been forgotten. We are all Sri Lankans. We all have a right to exist. Only we have solutions. Only we can find the required finances. Let's move forward. So just like the country's government, give UNP the governance of the village as well.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa emphasizes that he did not hand over any part of Sri Lanka to a foreign nation. The former president made the remark at a campaign rally in Tissamaharama today.
Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna organised another campaign rally ahead of the local authorities election in Tissamaharama under the patronage of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
A large number of tourists used to come to Tissamaharama. That number is decreasing because someone has taken over the Yala National Park to count the spots of the leopards. They say 250 acres of land was given to China for free. A country's president and prime minister should be more responsible when talking. It was only 25 hectares and they are filling a land of 650 hectares for free. And they changed everything before it was gradually given to us. He's saying he's one of the giants who ended the war. Well, he didn't go into war all by himself. We were also there like the giants mentioned in history. Well, those 10 giants never went to King Ilara, did they? But these so-called giants did everything. We know that it is a result of a conspiracy.
Still in your election segment, leader of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, Anru Kumar Dissanayake, says the current political situation in the country has given rise to public disappointment. He made the remark addressing a gathering in Vaunia yesterday.
The president says something else before taking office and something completely different after coming into office. He said earlier that he would stay only for 5 years, he'd abolish the executive presidency, and that he won't follow any political party. And now he's asking the Supreme Court whether he can stay for another year. And he's trying his best to secure a win for a political party. A journalist recently asked whether he'd contest in the next presidential election, and he says he has somewhat of an idea to do so. And then the Prime Minister, he earlier said he'd bring all the corrupt and fraudsters before justice. He even claimed recovery of the wealth stolen by Rajapakshas will be more than enough to develop the country. Did he catch any thieves? No, he protected them. Fraudsters are making fun of the government these days. Did you see how former President Mahinda Rajapaksa elaborated on how he is going to catch all the fraudsters once he is in power? Isn't it no wonder that the public is tired of politics?
Corruption within the political system seems to be the focal point ahead of the local authorities election, with politicians pointing fingers at each other. Let's take a look at some of these views expressed, including Pradesh Sabhas and urban councils being compared to preschools for the corrupt.
We should name Pradesh Sabhas and urban councils as preschools to learn the art of theft. Politicians from top to bottom and businessmen such as Arjun Aloysius to common contractors have all become corrupt individuals. Commission to investigate bribery or corruption caught chairman of Valalavita Pradesh Sabha when he took bribes from the chairman of the Bentra Pradesh Sabha. But chairman of the Valalavita Pradesh Sabha was not removed from the position. Such corrupted politics is the reason for our defeats. They handed over the central bank to Ravi Karanayake, who destroyed Lanka Satusa. Prime Minister Wickremesinghe sacrificed Ravi Karanayake because he knows he won't be caught for any bond-related games. I appreciate your effort to participate in this, even when there isn't any power. We made a change during these 2.5 years, but we have a lot left to do. We reduced the price of a gas cylinder from 2,650 rupees to 1,450 rupees. We reduced the price of a milk packet from 450 rupees to 325 rupees. Those who have forgotten all of these ask us what have we done so far. We could feed the whole country for free for 2 months if money stolen in the bond scam can be recovered.
Police launched a special island-wide operation last evening and arrested 1,670 over various offences. Police media spokesperson SP Ruwan Gunasekara says that 3,715 cases have also been filed for numerous traffic violations. With that, we take a look at a few other stories making news in brief.
Following measures to broaden the Kaltara estuary, the shoreline is being eroded. Fishermen in the area have asked officials to address the issue immediately. They say that due to broadening the Kaltara estuary, the tide is coming in, affecting their livelihood. A workshop was organized last night by Derana to improve the communication skills of students in the Dharaniyagala Sirisaman Central College, which was also attended by students from other schools located in the area. The workshop is part of a series organized by Derana to improve communication skills of school children. At the end of the event, the students were presented with certificates for their participation. A train on the Kalani Valley line plying from Avisavela to Colombo derailed close to the Vataraka railway station. The incident inconvenienced many trains and passengers travelling along the route.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Derana 24/7.
In your business segment tonight, Veritas Research highlights that bureaucracy in Sri Lanka shows a slow development compared to the development of the economy. The Executive Director of Veritas Research expressed these views addressing a media briefing to release the Open Budget Survey 2017 in Colombo recently. According to the Open Budget Survey 2017, Sri Lanka is placed 60th out of 115 countries.
According to the Veritas Research Center, Sri Lanka had scored 47 and rose up to 57 in 2008 and 2009. However, after that the score has fallen to 46 to 39 and remains at 44.
So what we find is that Sri Lanka gets a higher score when it's trying to attract organizations like the International Monetary Fund to come and work with the country. Then it does better in terms of the openness of the budget and its transparency and accountability. Government always tells you that budget deficits are falling, that revenue is increasing, that expenditure as a percentage of GDP is decreasing. Estimates are very poorly made. They are much more guesstimates and very poor guesses at that, and not really thought through estimates. So government gives optimistic views about the future in every budget, but that future never comes about.
Speaking further, the executive director of Veritas Research said that bureaucracy is not developing at the same speed as the economy.
Our economy has come into middle income status. We don't have a matching competence and development in the bureaucracy. And so the bureaucracy becomes now something that is holding us back rather than championing us forward. That is a problem that we need to try and address and solve. We can't expect the country to keep progressing if the quality, competence and ability of the bureaucracy to develop doesn't keep up with the improvements in the economy.
Still in business news, Australia and Sri Lanka entered a subsidiary arrangement for grant assistance to the value of up to 3.8 billion rupees to work together on strengthening governance in Sri Lanka through a 4-year program. The agreement was signed under Governance for Growth program, which aims to support Sri Lanka's efforts to increase economic growth and spread its benefits to reduce poverty and inequality in the country. The program will support activities that improve the policy formation and delivery capabilities of government at national, provincial and local levels to bring about inclusive economic growth. And the Central Bank of Sri Lanka issued a circular standard 1,000 rupee currency note to mark the 70th Independence Day celebration of the country ahead of the 4th of February. This note is recognized as the 4th commemorative note issued by the Central Bank. Issuing a communique, the Central Bank said 5 million of these notes will be issued. And in news overseas, a bullish U.S. President Donald Trump proclaimed a new American moment as he delivered his maiden State of the Union speech to Congress yesterday. In a primetime address, the Republican leaders said he was extending an open hand to Democrats to work together. As many as 40 million television viewers were expected to tune in as he implored the nation to come together as one team, one people, and one American family.
An upbeat message a world away from his apocalyptic American carnage inaugural speech of just a year ago, Trump said his administration was building a safe, strong and proud America.
Tonight, I call upon all of us to set aside our differences, to seek out common ground, and to summon the unity we need to deliver for the people. This is really the key. These are the people we were elected to serve.
Meanwhile, branding North Korea's leadership depraved, President Donald Trump told Americans yesterday that Pyongyang's pursuit of nuclear missiles could very soon threaten the U.S. and vowed a continued campaign of maximum pressure to keep that from happening.
I will not repeat the mistakes of past administrations that got us into this very dangerous position. We need only look at the depraved character of the North Korean regime to understand the nature of the nuclear threat it could pose to America and to our allies.
During his State of the Union address, President Trump announced that he signed an executive order to keep Guantanamo Bay military prison open.
Terrorists who do things like place bombs in civilian hospitals are evil. When possible, we have no choice but to annihilate them. When necessary, we must be able to detain and question them. But we must be clear, terrorists are not merely criminals. They are unlawful enemy combatants.
The decision reverses that of former President Barack Obama, who said he wanted to close the controversial site as soon as practicable.
And we have more news from international stories, making news in brief.
Three people were killed yesterday when a helicopter crashed into a home in the Southern California community of Newport Beach. The Robinson 44 chopper had 4 people aboard when it crashed into a house about a mile from John Wayne Airport. The Philippines' Mount Mayon continued to spew lava and ash yesterday, with a significant ashfall raining down on several nearby towns. Molten lava flew down the slopes of the Mayon volcano with columns of ash spilling from its crater. According to the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, there was one large lava eruption lasting for around 1.5 hours day before night, indicating that the volcano is still engulfed in an intense active period. Theresa May announced new education links with China as she arrives for a 3-day visit to boost trade and investment after Brexit. The initiative includes the extension of a maths teacher exchange program and a campaign to promote English language learning in China. Japan's first robot cafe opened its doors to media yesterday, with a robot replacing the barista to serve coffee to patrons. Customers at Henna Cafe, meaning strange cafe in Japanese, have to scan a QR code printed on a ticket bought from a vending machine in order to get a 320 yen coffee. The robot barista, called Sawyer, is able to serve a maximum of 5 cups of coffee at one go. 1 cup takes about 4 minutes to make.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
In sports, we start off with cricket. The first test between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka got underway in Chittagong today, with the hosts seemingly unaffected by the loss to Sri Lanka in the Tri-Nation Series final. In a supreme display of batting, Bangladesh ended the first day on 374 for the loss of just 4 wickets.
With former Bangladesh head coach Shantika Hattarusinghe taking up a similar role with the Sri Lankan outfit, the series has been very much anticipated. Bangladeshi captain Mahmudullah won the toss and elected to bat on a surface which offered little to bowlers. That said, nothing should be taken away from their batsmen for what followed. Openers Tamim Iqbal and Imrul Kaiz were on song from the word go and romped to 72 when Dilruwan Pereira bowled Tamim for an almost run-up ball 52. 48 runs later came the wicket of Kaiz for 40 as Lakshan Sandakan trapped him in front with the score on 120. That didn't affect the scoring rate as Mominul Haq and Mushfiqur Rahim maintained a run rate in the excess of 4. Mominul got his century and Mushfiqur also brought up his half-century. After a massive stand of 236 runs, Mushfiqur fell 8 runs short of a ton of Suranga Lakmal. In the very next ball, Lakmal bowled Lytton Das to leave the host on 356 for 4. Skipper Mahmudullah was unbeaten at stumps, with Mominul also unbeaten on 175 off just 203 deliveries, to leave Bangladesh in a commanding position with 374 runs on the board for the loss of 4 wickets.
Russian President Vladimir Putin admits that there were some cases of Russian athletes doping during the Sochi 2014 Winter Olympics, which led to the International Olympic Committee investigation. However, Putin said yesterday that the situation in Russia was not unique and similar cases could be found in many countries around the world, adding that Russia intends to cooperate with the International Doping Authority on the investigation.
The scandal over the Sochi 2014 Olympics, triggered by revelations made by Grigory Rodchenkov, is part of a broader doping affair that has led to the suspension of Russia's anti-doping agency RUSADA, the country's athletics federation and the Paralympic Committee. Putin called Rodchenkov an idiot and suggested that the whistleblower should be placed behind bars for his activity in Russia.
Do we have to cooperate with international organizations? Sure we do, and we will do that. First of all, we have to say this directly. We gave the International Olympic Committee a pretext for the ban of Russian Olympic athletes. We are to blame for this. After all, there were cases of doping usage. That is true. Such cases are numerous all around the world. Simply no one puts them forward, and no one promotes them in terms of internal politics in some particular country.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Good evening and welcome to Forecast First. Now we are in store for some wet weather over the next few days as a result of a low pressure zone that is hovering over the vicinity of Sri Lanka. This will of course bring temperatures down to as low as 19 degrees Celsius, while it will max out at 30 over the next 24 hours. Rains can be expected in Sabaragamo, western, southern, northwestern and central provinces. Our viewers in Nuwara, Galle and Mathare districts in particular will experience some heavy showers of about 100 millimeters as a result of the low pressure zone. And there will also be heavy rainfall in sea areas off the coast extending from Batiklo to Galle through Hambantota. Well, that's it from your weather center tonight. Up next is your city by city forecast.
That's all from the First at 9 Other Derana 24/7 News Center. But before we go, we'd like to leave you with some visuals of the mesmerizing scenery hidden away in the central hills of Sri Lanka. At a time when Sri Lanka has become a hub for tourists from around the globe, the central hills have become a center of attraction which provides an array of experiences, from picturesque railroads carving through the mountains to streams with clear, ice-cold water. They are a treasure trove for any nature lover. Have a pleasant evening. Good night.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.